One of the reasons you do goals review is to assess your progress. In other words, is to measure where you are with your goal that you've set in the beginning of the year. When I teach goal setting in the beginning of the year, I've had like 2 sessions this year on masterclass on goal setting. I teach that your goals have to be measurable, attainable, and of course, you have to set a deadline, a timeline to it. Let's take an example. If you have set a goal to save a 500,000 by June 31st, this year, when you are doing a goal review, you are looking at least, you can't just say, oh, I want to save money. I want to save money. It's not measurable. You can't measure it. So because we're talking about assessing our progress here. So for you to be able to assess your progress, you must have set your goal in a way that you're able to measure it. So now we have 500,000 to save by end of June. If you are assessing your goal right now or doing a goal review, if you're assessing your progress or doing a goal review, you are looking at asking yourself, have I saved the money? If you have not saved that money to up to 500, what happened? You're able to ask yourself some questions to move you ahead. It just gives you the opportunity to know where you are with your set goals. Another reason why we do goals review is to celebrate achievements. That is appreciating the progress you have made. The first one is to assess your progress. So after you have assessed your progress, you want to, celebrate that progress. So you don't go by beating yourself down, I've not achieved this or that. No, first of all, you celebrate the ones you have achieved. So you appreciate that progress, no matter how little it is. What does that do to you? When you appreciate your progress and celebrate your achievement, no matter how little, it will boost your motivation and morale. And it gives you the energy to forge ahead and go again for the next 6 months, because you have 6 months ahead of you. That is what celebrating your achievement does to you. It gives you the energy, boosts your morale, and motivate you further. So at this point, I would like us to celebrate our progress. Who's with me? I can start. Let me start. I will list the things I've been able to achieve this year. I'll write it down, and then I'll have you also write yours. So let's clap for ourselves and celebrate our progress. Another one is identifying your challenges. People shy away from this one because it's the moment of truth. Yeah, it's actually identifying the obstacles to your success. Achieving your goals, or the major roadblocks that is preventing you from achieving your goals. It's very important that you have it at the back of your mind when you engage in this particular exercise. The 80-20% rule. It says that the 80-20 rule applies to the constraints between you and your goals. This rule says that 80% of your constraints will be within yourself, not outside, within yourself. Only 20% of your constraints will be outside of yourself, contained in other people and situations. In other words, let me rephrase it. It says that it is you personally who is usually the major roadblock that is setting the speed at which you achieve any goal that you set for yourself. So you're the one determining the speed at which you achieve your goal. 80% is coming from you, 20% is coming from outside and other situations. I would like to use my own personal circumstance. I would like to give an example here. Actually, I just finished last month. I did my half-year review. I set a certain number of books I would like to finish by end of June, 12 to be precise. I found out by end of June I was about 5 or 6 books, down that list. I began to ask myself, what happened? I found out that it wasn't the only goals I have not met. There are quite a lot of them, so too. But you see, that's why we review, because sometimes you think you're on top of them. By the time you end the year, you realize that, oh my goodness, what happened? So it was a good one for me, because I realized that there was a lot of my goals that are not on track. So I actually had to ask myself, questions as to what happened. I found out that I set certain goals that are unrealistic. I didn't consider my unique circumstance. I'm a nursing mom, and I was wondering, okay, I have this baby and I am nursing. With all the things I have to do, and reading 2 books a month would be quite very challenging. So I probably did not put my special circumstances into consideration when I set that goal. Also, it's also another contribution to it that I found out that overactivity has so much I'm juggling with. I was all over the place that I got distracted. I also had this particular project that came into my life that was not in my goal that I set from the beginning of the year. So, and it took a lot of my time. I paid attention to it. These are my reasons. These are part of the roadblocks, but majority of them were internal. I was distracted. I wasn't focused with that, and I didn't consider my circumstances. So I just told you a bit of what an example with my own goals. I would like to hear yours. What are the internal constraints that has affected you from achieving your goals? Let's share it. We are here to learn, and we can learn from one another's experiences. So let's go. Who's going second? I just went. So another person. Let's list it. Let's discuss about it. Let's go. Another benefit of goals review is realigning your priorities. What does it mean to realign? To realign means to put something into a new or correct position. It also means that you've probably, as in the course of going through your goals review, you've decided to look into the list of the goals that you have and make a decision what stays and what gets thrown out, or what gets moved into the next year, or what even gets thrown out entirely. So what happens when you realign? When you realign, it could be that, okay, a goal that has a new goal has come into your life within that 6 months and has become a top priority for you. So another goal on your plate will now have to take a back seat. Or it could also mean that it could be a distraction that showed up, and you started taking up a goal that you never planned to, and it wasn't as important to you. And then the one that is very important to you, it has taken a back seat. So you need to now bring it back to that right position, and then do away with the one that has become a distraction. I would like to give an example here. Actually, my case will be a case of I suddenly had a particular goal that came into my life and became a priority for me, and I had to decide what will I replace that particular goal with. And like I always teach in my class when I do master class, that your goals can evolve. It means that when your goals evolve, you can reset your goal. What has become a priority may not be a priority for you. So you're free to actually, as your goals, because when you start your year, by January or February or March, things can change. Maybe suddenly, for example, you didn't even see yourself traveling outside the country. By January, when you're setting goals, you're setting all the goals that you're living, planning to stay here and plan your goals around there. Maybe by February, something has come up, and you made a life decision that you're going to move outside, you're going to Japa. So you can see Japa has become very important to you. So it will alter the entire your goal setting for that year, and then your goal suddenly has evolved. Japa has become important. So you have to realign your priorities at that point. So my case will be a case of I never planned to become a chairman of a tribe of certain women. I went to a conference and I came back, and this group of women agreed to make me their chairman. I didn't want to take it up because I had a lot of things on my plate. I have a lot of things I'm leading. So, but I felt that I tried shying away for it for some time, but I felt that God was leading me to take up that challenge. So I took up that challenge. But it means what it means, that another thing that it became a priority for me, because I also wanted to hone my leadership skill. So, but it means that another thing has to give way in my life. So I had to realign my entire goal. And it's one of the things that affected other goals, from happening, because I had to give attention to moving that particular tribe forward. So I don't know what it is that also you need to realign in your goal, in your list of goals as we do this review. I would like to hear from you. Think about it, like few seconds and ask, what are the things that you need to realign? Are there things that are new, or are there things that are distraction you need to throw away entirely? One of the things I took out of my list this year, in fact, I thought it was very important, was French. I wanted to learn how to speak French, but by the time I did a goal review, I said no. I don't even. It's not even close to what I. It's not. It's not as important as other things I have as per where I'm going to this year. So I moved it to next year. So I would like to hear yours. Let's share. Tell me what it is that you have to, realign, or maybe something that you're doing and something came in and distracted you. You faced another goal and you have to come back to it. I would like to hear your own version of this particular exercise. Let's go. Planning ahead is one of the benefits of goals review. What that does to you is that when you engage in reviewing your goals, it centers you entirely. It just refocuses you back to what is important to you. Because in the process of trying to achieve your goals, January, July, you would probably have gathered some things that are not important, that are not priorities. So when you sit down and plan, review your goals, you just plan ahead. You find out that some of the goals that have been achieved, you take them off your plate, and the ones that have not achieved, you restructure them. And you find out that some self you have to even bring new ones in, because now you're trying to plan the next 6 months. And one of the things it does to you is that it focuses you. It gives you you become tunnel focus, in the sense that you just realize that I have 6 months to go. I just have to be focused. For example, one of the things I did this year to refocus me is to go on movie fast. I love movies, so when I do movies, some certain things suffer. My goals suffer. So, for me to be able to read, be able to cover, because like I said, part of planning, I'm planning ahead. I told you that I was supposed to have finished 12 books, and I read about 5 or 6. I asked myself, how can I cover this book in the next 6 months? How can I, be able to cover, so that I don't have an outstanding at the end of the year? Or at least, even if I mustn't achieve everything, it could be a case of 80 over 100, that would be a good mark. Or even 70. It's still an average for me. So in the process of planning ahead, I told myself I have to reduce my movie time. I will even go on movie fast. I probably will go on movie fast for the next 3 months or 4 months to be able to catch up. So you see, that's what it helps you to do when you do a goal review. Begin to find out that in your shortfalls, how do you cover up for your shortfalls? So you begin to look for areas to cover. What do you need to do? What do you need to drop? How would you live your life for the next 6 months to be able to meet your goal, even if it's 80% of that? So is always a good exercise. It just focuses you and centers you for the next 6 months, and you're able to hit the ground running with the rest of your goals. I can go on and on. There are lots of benefits of engaging in goal review. I would like to end with this one. It increases your success rate. Studies have it that when you engage regularly in goal review or goals review, your likelihood of achieving those goals, of those goals coming to pass, are actually higher than the person that does not review at all. Why is this so? It's 100%. Because when you regularly review your goals, they are before your eyes. They are constantly before your eyes. And then you think about them. There's this saying that says, what you think about, you bring about. So the rate at which they show up in your life is actually higher when you're constantly seeing them, and you're constantly reviewing them and thinking about how you can move yourself forward as you analyze where you are, where you've been, and where you need to go. So it's very important that you review your goals regularly. I would advise you do weekly. If you can't do weekly, do monthly. If you can't do monthly, do quarterly. 6 months is a little bit far, because in 6 months is a lot of time. In 6 months, you may have lost track of some things, but it's better than not even doing at all. But the more you put your goals before your eyes, the more you think about them, the more they come and they manifest in your life faster, than you think. Thank you so much. I would like to field your questions. If you have any question to ask me, please send them in and let's discuss them. Thank you.